My wife sneered. You can't afford what I want? Then stay out of my way. I'll find someone who can. I said, good luck with that. Then I filed for divorce and let her discover our prenup protected everything. Her lawyer's shocked call, when they read the terms, was, I, 37 male, should have seen this coming. My wife, 34, and I have been married for 6 years. Met at a friend's wedding, dated for 2 years, got married in what I thought was a practical, loving ceremony. Nothing fancy, just us and close family. The cracks started showing about 18 months ago. She'd always liked nice things, but it was manageable. Then her college roommate married some finance guy, and suddenly our life wasn't enough anymore. Why can't we go to Bali like they did? Her ring is 3 carats, mine is barely 1. They just bought a lake house, we're still in the starter home. I make decent money. Software sales pulling around $140K a year. Not rich, but comfortable. We live in a nice suburb, drive reliable cars, take a vacation every year. But compared to her friend's hedge fund husband? Yeah, we're peasants. 3 weeks ago, I came home from a brutal client meeting. She was sitting at the kitchen island, scrolling through her phone, looking at vacation photos some couple posted. We should go to the Maldives, she said without looking up. Maybe next year. I've got that commission coming in December. She finally looked at me. Next year, it's always next year with you. Babe, we just went to Mexico in March. Mexico, she said with disgust. Her husband took her to Italy for 2 weeks, first class, private tours. I sighed. I'm not a hedge fund manager. You knew that when you married me. That's when her expression changed. Cold, contemptuous. You know what? You're right. I did know that, and I'm tired of settling for your mediocre income and your mediocre ambitions. She stood up. You can't afford what I want? Then stay out of my way. I'll find someone who can. The words hit like ice water. I just stared at her. Are you serious right now? Dead serious, she snapped. I'm not spending the rest of my life pinching pennies while my friends live actual lives. Either step up or step aside. Something in me just clicked off. The pleading, the trying, the hoping she'd appreciate what we had. Gone. Good luck with that, I said calmly. She blinked, surprised. Probably expected me to beg or promise to work harder or some crap. What? I said good luck, finding someone who can afford your champagne taste. I walked to our home office, pulled out the file folder I'd hoped I'd never need, and called my attorney. By the time she came to bed that night, divorce papers were already being drafted. The next morning, I handed her a coffee and the business card of my lawyer. We're done. My attorney will be in touch with yours. Or you can get your own. Her face went through confusion, shock, then rage. You're divorcing me? Over one argument? No. I'm divorcing you because you just told me I'm not enough and you're looking for someone richer. That's pretty clear. I was just upset. You're really going to throw away 6 years because I was frustrated? You told me to step aside so you could find someone else. I'm stepping aside. Permanently. You can't just, I can. Papers are being filed today. Move out or don't, but we're done. I grabbed my keys and left for work. My phone blew up with texts. I ignored them all. Here's what she didn't know. We had a prenup. A solid one. My lawyer uncle insisted on it before the wedding. She'd signed it without really reading it. Excited about the wedding planning. Why? Because before we met, I'd inherited a decent chunk from my grandmother, about $280K, and had invested it well. By the time we got married, it had grown to around $420K. That money went into index funds and stayed separate. The prenup protected it entirely. I also had equity in the startup I'd been with since before we met. Small percentage, but the company had grown. That was protected too as premarital property. What wasn't protected? Our house equity. Bought after marriage, our regular savings account built during marriage, my 401K contributions during marriage. She'd get a portion of those, and honestly, that was fair. We built those together, but she'd been looking at our total net worth, probably around $780K combined, and thinking she'd walk away with half of everything. She had no idea about the prenup specifics. Update 1. The mediator meeting was scheduled for 2 weeks out. She hired an attorney, some guy she found online who promised aggressive representation. The text turned from angry to manipulative. Can we please talk about this? I didn't mean it. I was just stressed. You're my husband. We can work through this. I responded once, all communication through attorneys. Her mother called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail about how marriage is hard work and I was giving up too easily. Deleted. Her sister showed up at my office. Security escorted her out when she wouldn't leave. Then came the mediator meeting. I walked in with my attorney. She was there with hers, her eyes red like she'd been crying. Part of me felt bad. Small part. Very small. Her lawyer started strong. My client is seeking a 50-50 division of all marital assets, including investment accounts, retirement funds, and home equity. We're also requesting spousal support of $3,000 monthly for a period of 3 years while she transitions back to full-time work. My wife worked part-time at a boutique, maybe 15 hours a week. Her career was more of a hobby. My attorney slid a document across the table. Prenuptial agreement, signed by both parties 6 years ago. Her lawyer's face didn't change, but he started reading. My wife looked confused. "What does that have to do with anything?" she asked. Her lawyer kept reading. Then he stopped. Read it again. His expression shifted. "You signed this?" "Yeah, like 6 years ago. Before the wedding. It's just standard stuff, right?" "Did you read it?" "I mean, I skimmed it." Oh, this was good. The mediator asked, "Is there an issue with the prenup's validity?" Her lawyer sighed. "No, it's solid, very specific." He turned to my wife. "Your husband's inheritance and his premarital business equity are completely protected. We can't touch them." "Okay, but we still split the house and his 401k and..." "The house, yes. A portion of his retirement contributions during the marriage, yes. But the investment account? That's the protected inheritance, which according to this disclosure is currently valued at..." He paused. "You said your total net worth was around $800? I nodded. My wife looked between us. "And the protected assets are around $520, my attorney said calmly. The room went silent. My wife's face drained. That's more than half of everything." "Yes," my attorney continued. "Marital assets to be divided are approximately $260. Your client is entitled to half of that, roughly $130K, plus a portion of 401k contributions made during marriage, minus her own retirement contributions, which brings her total to approximately $165K. We're offering a one-time spousal support payment of $18,000, bringing her total settlement to $183,000. Her lawyer was still reading the prenup. "This is actually generous given the terms here." My wife exploded. "Generous? That's barely anything. The investment account was built during our marriage." "No," my attorney said. "It was built before your marriage and kept separate per the prenup you signed. I don't care what I signed. I deserve half of everything. I'm his wife." "You were his wife," my attorney corrected, "and you signed a legal document that you apparently didn't read." Her lawyer put his hand on her arm. "We need to talk, outside." They left. The mediator looked uncomfortable. I sat there feeling nothing, maybe relief. They came back 15 minutes later. Her eyes were swollen. Her lawyer looked defeated. "We reject the offer. This is unfair and we'll fight it in court." My attorney didn't even blink. "That's your right. See you in court." We left. In the parking lot, my attorney turned to me. "They have no case. The prenup is airtight, but be prepared. She's going to make this ugly." "How ugly?" "She's entitled and just realized she's not getting what she thought. People like that don't go quietly." He was right. That night, her mother called from her phone. I answered by accident. "You're stealing from her," she screamed. "She gave you the best years of her life. She told me to get out of her way so she could find someone richer. She didn't mean it. She signed a prenup. It's legal. We're done here. You manipulated her into signing that. She had her own lawyer review it before signing. This conversation is over." I hung up, blocked the number. 2 days later, I got a call from my attorney. Her legal team filed a motion to invalidate the prenup, claiming duress and lack of independent counsel. Except we had documentation that she'd had independent counsel. A lawyer she picked herself reviewed the prenup before she signed. We had emails proving it. "They're grasping at straws," my attorney said. "But it'll cost you about $8,000 in legal fees to fight it." Do it. Update 2. The dirty tricks started immediately. First, she tried to drain our joint checking account. I'd already moved my direct deposit and half the balance into a new account, leaving her half plus a bit extra. She took it all anyway, then claimed I'd stolen marital funds. Her lawyer had to return the money. Oops. Then she started calling my boss, claimed I was unstable and making threats. My boss, who'd known me for 8 years, called me personally. Your soon-to-be ex-wife called HR 3 times today. I'm sorry. Don't be. I know you. HR knows you. We documented everything and told her to stop contacting the company or we'd pursue harassment charges. Just giving you a heads up. Next, she posted on social media. Didn't name me, but anyone who knew us would know. When someone shows you who they really are, greedy, heartless, manipulative, believe them. I gave everything to my marriage, and I'm being punished for it. But God sees the truth. The comments were full of her friends supporting her. A few mutual friends messaged me asking what happened. I didn't respond, but her mother went further. She started calling my family, my mom, my sister, even my dad, who she'd met twice, told them I was financially abusing her daughter. My sister called me. Is this woman insane? She's saying you're hiding money? Long story. I'll explain later. Just ignore her. Then came the worst part. Her lawyer filed a motion claiming I'd been emotionally abusive throughout the marriage and that the prenup should be invalidated because she'd signed it under emotional distress caused by my controlling behavior. Absolute garbage. But now I had to defend myself against abuse allegations. My attorney was livid. This is defamation territory. These accusations are baseless. Can we prove it? Can she prove them? No, she has zero evidence. But it's still mud they're throwing at the wall. We had to file a response. I had to write out a detailed account of our marriage, proving I wasn't abusive. Provide emails, texts, anything showing normal communication. It was humiliating. The hearing for the prenup motion came up. We sat in front of a judge. Her lawyer presented their evidence, which was basically her saying she felt pressured and didn't understand what she was signing. Then my attorney presented our evidence. 1. Email chain showing she'd asked for a lawyer recommendation to review the prenup. 2. Invoice from that lawyer showing she paid for 3 hours of prenup review. 3. Her signature on a document acknowledging she'd reviewed the prenup with independent counsel. 4. The lawyer himself testifying, via Zoom, that he'd explained everything to her, and she said it's fine, I'm just excited to get married. The judge took maybe 10 minutes. Motion denied. The prenup is valid. If there are no other legitimate disputes, I suggest both parties settle this quickly. My wife started crying loudly. Her lawyer looked embarrassed. Outside the courtroom, she came at me. Not physically, but verbally. You planned this. You trapped me. No, you just didn't read what you signed. I trusted you. And I trusted you wouldn't tell me to get out of your way so you could find someone richer. Guess we both made mistakes. Her mother stepped in. You're going to regret this. She could have had anyone, and she chose you. You're nothing without her. I almost laughed. She literally told me I wasn't enough. I'm just agreeing with her. You'll never find anyone else. You're not. My attorney cut in. That's enough. Any further contact outside of legal proceedings will be considered harassment. We left. I could hear my wife sobbing in the parking lot. Part of me, tiny, stupid part, felt bad. But then I remembered her face when she said I couldn't afford what she wanted. That look of contempt. Sympathy gone. But I wasn't done. See, while going through our finances for the divorce, I found something interesting. Her credit card statements. She had a card I'd added her to as an authorized user years ago. I'd forgotten about it. The limit was $15. She'd maxed it out. The minimum payments were auto-paying from our joint account, so I'd never noticed. $15,000 in charges over the last 8 months. Designer handbags, expensive dinners with friends, weekend spa trips, all while complaining we couldn't afford nice vacations. I took the statements to my attorney. This is marital debt, he said. But since it's on your card, you're technically responsible. But she charged it without telling me. Doesn't matter. You gave her access. So I'm stuck with her $15 shopping spree? He smiled. Not exactly. We can argue that this debt should be factored into the asset division. Essentially, her $165K settlement would be reduced by her portion of this debt. Since she made the charges, she should bear the responsibility. Can we do that? We can absolutely try. The card's in your name, but we have evidence she made all the charges. If the judge agrees, she'd owe you half, $7,500. I loved this plan. We filed the motion. Her lawyer lost it, sent a nasty email about nickel and diming and petty revenge. My attorney's response was simple. Your client spent $15,000 of marital funds without disclosure. Should my client bear that burden alone? The hearing was scheduled. Meanwhile, she started showing up places. The grocery store I usually went to. The coffee shop near my office. Always coincidentally there. Once, she approached me at the coffee shop. Can we please just talk? No, all communication through attorneys. You're being ridiculous. We were married for 6 years. You can at least speak to me like a human being. You told me to step aside so you could find someone richer. I stepped aside. We have nothing to discuss. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You meant every word. You just didn't expect consequences. Her voice got louder. You're punishing me for one comment. No. I'm divorcing you for your contempt, disrespect, and sense of entitlement. The prenup is just protecting what's mine. She grabbed my arm. Please, I'm sorry, I really am. Can we start over? I pulled away. No, we're done. Stop showing up places. She called me a bastard loud enough for everyone to hear and left crying. The barista gave me a free muffin. That was rough, man. Tell me about it. Update 3. The debt hearing was beautiful. Her lawyer tried to argue that the credit card spending was normal marital expenses. My attorney pulled out the statements. Normal marital expenses include $800 handbags, $400 dinners, $1,200 spa weekends. My client deserves to enjoy life. On debt, she accrued secretly while complaining they couldn't afford vacations. The judge reviewed the statements. These don't appear to be necessities. Were you aware of these purchases? He asked me. No, Your Honor. I gave her access to the card years ago for emergencies and forgot about it. The minimum payments were auto-paying, so I didn't catch it until the divorce process. And you're requesting she assume responsibility for half this debt? Yes, Your Honor. She made the charges. I shouldn't bear the full burden of her discretionary spending. The judge looked at her lawyer. Does your client dispute making these charges? No. But then half the debt, $7,500, will be deducted from her settlement. Anything else? Her lawyer looked defeated. No, Your Honor. My wife was furious, stood up and yelled, This is theft. He's stealing from me. Ma'am, sit down or I'll hold you in contempt, the judge said calmly. She sat, glared at me like I'd murdered her dog. The final settlement? Her total, $165,000. Minus her debt responsibilities, $7,500. Final amount, $157,500. My total, everything else, including my inheritance, investments, and business equity. She'd also have to return a few items that were technically mine. Gifts from my family, some furniture I'd bought before marriage, stuff like that. The divorce was finalized 3 weeks later. Quick, since we had no kids and the prenup settled most disputes. At the final hearing, she tried one last time. Your Honor, this isn't fair. I gave up my career for this marriage. The judge looked at her. Ma'am, according to the record, you worked part-time retail before and during the marriage. What career did you give up? I could have pursued more if he'd supported me. That's not evidence. The prenup is valid. The settlement is fair given the circumstances. Divorce granted. She left sobbing. Her mother tried to corner me in the hallway, but my attorney blocked her. Don't even think about it. I went home to my apartment. Yeah, apartment. Sold the house, split the proceeds. I didn't want to stay there anyway. Too many memories of her complaining about it not being big enough. The apartment's nice. Downtown, walkable to everything. Half the space but zero maintenance. I kept the furniture I wanted, donated the rest. 3 months later, I'm doing okay. The financial hit sucked. Lost about $130K total when you factor in the house, her settlement, and legal fees. But I've still got my inheritance protected, my business equity, and most importantly, my sanity. Ran into her sister at a restaurant last month. She was with friends and pretended not to see me. One of her friends, though, came up to me when I was leaving. Hey, you're the guy who divorced her sister, right? Yeah. Good for you. She was always a nightmare, entitled as hell. Her sister's just like her. That felt validating. As for my ex-wife, heard through mutual friends she moved back home with her mother, working at the boutique full-time now, dating some guy she met on a dating app who supposedly has money. Good luck to him. He'll need it. Her mother sent me one final text from a new number. You ruined her life. She's struggling because of you. I replied, she told me to step aside so she could find someone who could afford her. I stepped aside. She should be thanking me. Then blocked the number. The thing is, I don't regret the divorce. Not even a little. Yeah, it cost me money. Yeah, it was stressful. But I'm not spending the rest of my life with someone who sees me as a disappointment because I'm not a millionaire. The prenup wasn't about being vindictive. It was about protecting what I'd built before she came along. And when she showed her true colors, it saved me from financial devastation. Would I marry again? Maybe. But next time, I'm paying attention to the signs earlier. The constant comparisons, the dissatisfaction, the entitlement. Those don't get better. They get worse. To anyone reading this, if your partner tells you you're not enough, believe them. Don't try to change their mind. Don't work harder to prove yourself. Just accept that you're incompatible and move on. And always, always get a prenup. Even if you think you'll be together forever, even if it feels unromantic. Protect yourself, because the person who loves you today might be the person sneering at you tomorrow for not being rich enough. Trust me on that one.